okay, there's something that's really bothering me lately. And I have to tell y'all, I'm here for you. This is why I'm here, because I'm wanting to support you and myself and everyone in the pottery space, the creative space, sell their work and actually get paid for it fairly. Hi y'all, my name is Tova and I make all things pottery. I started teaching pottery classes a little over a year ago in our local studio. Some of the work that I see is very detailed, beautiful, lots of carvings. Maybe it's a handmade glaze. Maybe they did nearikami and there's like 5,000 different glaze colors or clay body colors within it. And they spent so much time on this one piece to then sell it for like $30. And it drives me ballistics because I feel like we need to value our work a bit more. And I feel as though because everyone has been underselling their work, people think that this is how much it should be. Now, there are places like that people love and are willing to pay for. The pieces are very expensive, rightly so, because they're very beautiful pieces. However, some of those pieces are made from molds, so you could argue that they are mass produced. And if they are mass produced versus a handmade piece that's made less, I kind of think that the handmade piece from a local ceramicist should be priced out higher. So I think a mug with beautiful carvings and intricate details, or a nearikami piece with at least more than 2 to 3. I don't know. Like if you're taking like longer than an hour for one pottery piece, you should charge fairly. Like it should be, maybe it's even in the hundreds. And although you might say like it's not going to sell, well, there's always someone out there who's sees your value of your worth and is willing to buy your piece. So maybe if it doesn't sell, maybe it should be in an art museum. I'm just saying this as sometimes also I feel like people are like, wow, like I can't believe you're charging a mug that's $60. And when you break down the cost of everything, it's kind of expensive. And I want to be paid fairly. I also want to see my friends getting paid fairly. But at the moment, this is kind of something I've noticed. So what I'm going to do in this video is just break down the cost of what I think my pieces should be worth based off of like operational expenses and with taxes. I also want to show y'all just an example of something that's an easy piece to do. Also the time that it takes for you to make your piece. If something only takes you 20 minutes to make, like this only took me like 20 minutes. This is kind of what it looks like. Cute little dog bowl for when my friend's dog Grog comes over and I dog sit. So I can do things pretty efficiently and fast, but I acknowledging not everyone can do their pottery so fast. With the fact that this took me only a couple minutes to make, this could be worth $30 an hour of my time. Just thinking about it versus maybe something like this. This is also a dog plate that I made for Grog. I love that Grog has a personalized plate. And I took a lot of time to underglaze this. So this took me maybe 4 hours of underglaze time to do. So if I was to pay the same amount for both plates, this would then be like $5 an hour. And so you see here how I need to charge more for this plate for the time that it took me to make it. Right? You see where I'm going here? Okay. And so let's just go back to if this is a general mug that we're selling at a retail store. Retail takes 40%. I take 60%. If we were to charge $50 retail, everything's going to be really, really, really tight. If we were to charge $55, it's sustainable. We're actually not in the negative. And so I'm going to break this down by my firing process. I know that I can get into a kiln about 20 pieces for $30 for the first bisque fire at a local studio for a firing service fee. And the second firing, a glaze firing, usually costs more. So that's around $50 to $60 for that second firing. And then I also incorporating that I'm going to be using glazes over time. So maybe I've used like one glaze bucket. And so that's around $30 for me. And then with the clay, I'm probably using about 2 bags of clay for 20 pieces. And then I want to add in packaging. So I'm thinking this is like $3 per package for 20 pieces. This is about $60 each. So total, my operational just expenses right there are $247.50. So the cost per piece of just that is $12.38. So if we were to go back to the retail cost of $50, I'm getting $600 of revenue with my cost expenses of $247 pre-tax. I'm making $352.50, and my pieces are $17.63. However, after tax, it's only $264.37, which brings me down to $13.22 per piece. So that's what I'm bringing home. That seems like it's not a lot, but of course, like if you bucket this in 20 pieces, it works out more. And this is to also say, hopefully the places that you're selling your work at aren't just doing one-off pieces. Hopefully they're not being like, yeah, you can sell one of your pieces in the store. So maybe think about that as far as like bulk pricing too. And this also doesn't include mistakes. What happens if out of those 20 pieces, 2 of the handles broke off or there's a crack within one piece? You have to actually factor in making more than 20 pieces. I'm also factoring in, again, time. And so I think I can get all of this done within 10 hours, which is about 30 minutes per piece. And the way I factor this in is this only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to throw one piece. And then it also takes me about 5 minutes to trim, 5 minutes to wax, 5 minutes to glaze, 5 minutes to detail. And so again, if I was to do a very fancy bowl, if I'm spending an hour on a piece, that piece needs to be at least $70 to make up for your hourly wage. Okay, let's look at this again for $55 for a mug. So at $55, the retailer takes $22. I take $33. When I add in all of my expenses, that's $12.38. Taxes, $5.16. My take-home pay is $15.47 per piece. So that's what we're thinking right now. And I just wanted to share all those numbers so we can be transparent. I think even if you don't do pottery and if you're just curious, like, what's these numbers and how does this work? I would love people who don't even do pottery to watch this video and understand what the pay looks like. And this kind of actually reminds me of, what was that one clothing company? Everlane used to do this transparency pay logic of like there's 3 different tiers of payments, and then they broke it down like how they were paying their labor, the manufacturing fees. I think the study was that they were willing to pay more for the product knowing that they wanted to make sure that the company was making a profit and people were getting paid fairly. So if people just knew that like artists were barely breaking even for a mug or a painting, would people actually pay those artists fairly and pay more for those pieces? So I think this goes on both ends. I hope that if you are buying a piece and maybe you're at a market, maybe you are seeing the value of their worth, like seeing that they might have taken some time out of this. Maybe you're seeing that it's a handmade piece versus a mold made piece, and you're paying them for their value. And then if you are an artist, again, I hope you start to pay what you want to pay, like pay fairly. And so you know that, at the end of the day, we're not trying to get burnt out here. And we're just trying to have fun and do the things we love that bring us creative joy. Let me know in the comments what you've been charging for your pottery work or for your artwork, or how you have been feeling about the subject topic altogether. It's kind of an interesting, cringe type of topic, but I love just being transparent with this. So let me know in the comments how you feel. All right. Thank y'all for watching. I hope I'll see y'all again. All right. Bye.